Over the weekend, lots of reaction from elected officials on the Operation Midnight Hammer. Vice President J.D. Vance.
We're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. The president's been very clear, Kristen. We have no interest in a protracted conflict. We have no interest in boots on the ground.
I don't like the regime, but we're not into the regime change business here.
Marco Rubio, Secretary of State.
We're into the safety and security of the United States business.
We are not pursuing regime change.
Tom Cotton.
Not trying to put any troops on the ground into Iran. We are trying to eliminate their nuclear weapons program.
No, I don't think I see boots on the ground in our future, but I do see Israel not stopping.
That is Senator Lindsey Graham. And joining us now, Texas Congressman, 3rd District Congressman Keith Self. Welcome, sir. Good Monday to you.
Great to be here, Mark. Thank you.
So just your overall first thoughts, and then I want to go sort of into the nuts and bolts of how things like this reach the ears of members of Congress and where we go from here. Your overall reaction on Operation Midnight Hammer.
What a stupendous, amazing operation that was. The breadth of the coordination, this operational security. I have to tell you, I was at Ramstein Air Base on Wednesday with the Science, Space, and Technology Committee, and there were dozens of heavy lift aircraft sitting on that airfield that they call the Global Gateway. It was an amazing operation to send the tankers, to send the heavy lift, to send the fighters, and obviously the B-2 bombers under total, absolute operational security. The only operation in history that I can think of that rivals this, Mark, was D-Day. It was that sort of an operation.
I don't think that's overstatement at all. I mean, when you take something this big and keep it, it could be argued that it's virtually impossible to keep a secret these days, and they managed to do it. And I think one of the reasons they didn't is that they didn't violate the tight circle of notification. A lot of Democrats saying this was unconstitutional. I mean, even the occasional troublesome Republican. You gotta, these things have to be debated in Congress. This wasn't a declaration of war. There was no, much as I'm sure you would have loved to get some advance notice. There's no way you could have told the Democrat Party. They would have leaked it. So let's talk a little bit about the obligation, if there was one, to notify people ahead of time.
Well, first of all, the president has Article 1 authority under the Constitution to defend the United States as necessary. And frankly, the idea that our two oceans protect us from immediate attack is no longer valid. Missiles cross the ocean in a matter of minutes. There is no time in most cases in a modern world, whether it be cybersecurity, whether it be security from missiles, whether it be space. There is not a lot of time to go to the Congress, which probably doesn't have the DNA to make a fast, important decision like that anyway. So absolutely, he had the constitutional authority under Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, and 2, it made no sense to try to come to the Congress to start debating a declaration of war. We haven't had a declaration of war since 1942.
So what does happen now? There has to be a certain level of awareness, certain level of readiness for possible Iranian retaliation. And I don't want to be overconfident. I don't want to tell this audience, and I know you don't want to tell the public either, that we, not that you would, that they're so weakened, they're so against the ropes that they just really can't do anything. But I do not actively expect, I don't even necessarily expect an American facility in the Middle East to be attacked by Iran.
Well, there's several ways they could go. They can go small with their sleeper cells in the United States. They can attack the bases, the U.S. bases in the Middle East. They can just continue to hammer Israel as they can. But I don't think they'll go big. I don't think they will launch multiple missiles that can reach anywhere close to us. So I kind of agree. But at the same time, we don't know. Once you loose the dogs of war, you don't know where they go. So we must be prepared.
Congressman Keith Self is here. We can't wrap up without a quick update on Big Beautiful Bill. It does still exist. Senate's messing with it. Then it comes back to you guys in the House. What do you think its fate will be?
I am not optimistic, Mark, I will tell you. The Senate parliamentarian has started to come online and tear down a lot of the spending initiatives that are in there from the House bill. So I am not optimistic. Because if we blow out the debt, and as it was designed, it went from $36 trillion to over $50 trillion. If we do worse than that, we're looking at above $50 trillion in debt somewhere with higher interest rates. We're already spending $1 trillion a year just on interest alone. So if the Senate doesn't do a good job of at least keeping it where it was, I'm not optimistic.
So let's say the Senate, not to be pessimistic, but with the table you've set, let's say the Senate doesn't adequately address those things that you've talked about. Trump is still going to want it passed because it's a cornerstone of his economic plan. It does involve tons of border funding that we do need, tons of tax cuts that we do need. So are we just going to be back to square one with a bunch of people sniping at each other about this?
Well, if this bill does not pass when it comes back to the House, then we've got to have the tax cuts. That's the crown jewel of this whole thing. That's the crown jewel, as you say, of Trump's policy. We'll also have the defense spending. We'll have the border spending. But that can be a standalone bill under a second reconciliation attempt. We only don't get one bite at the apple. But there are ways to still do what we have to do with that's tax cuts, defense, and border. But again, that alone, even if we get the crown jewels of the big, beautiful bill, it will still be very detrimental to the deficit and the debt.
Well, let's talk about that as we work our way through various issues in the news. Always a pleasure to have your time. Thanks so much today, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Congressman